Good morning. Today is December 11th. Today's December 11th. And Gavin and I are going to transplant at UCLA right now. And today is the first consultation, so it's going to be from 9 to 5, I believe. And they're just going to teach us about transplant and all that has to go with it. And so I'm kind of nervous. I was having a lot of anxiety last night, and I woke up at 2 in the morning and my heart was beating super fast because I had this kind of nightmare where I was running, and then I just woke up and my heart was beating super fast and hard, and then I started having palpitations, so I had to take my blood pressure medication because it was really high. And I'm okay now though, but I'm still nervous about this. On my Instagram page, I talked about how I have swollen legs. So they said that I have diseased veins in my legs, which makes the blood rush down and then not really able to come back up, so my legs get swollen if I'm up and walking around or standing for too long or sitting too long. So I'm trying to just raise them up. And then today I'm going to be sitting from 9 to 5. So I'm going to have to ask them to give me like a chair, I think. I wanted to just say that if you have kidney disease or kidney failure and you're on dialysis, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you want to have a transplant and you're healthy enough, then you should definitely go for it. You can always try the Mayo Clinic if your local area doesn't accept you, because they have accepted a lot of people in my support group who have been denied from other transplant centers. So I have a friend who's literally 72 years old, and he got a transplant over a year ago, I believe, and he's doing great. So I highly suggest that if you are older, it is an option to still get a transplant. You just have to find the right center. Just had the first consultation, and they just talked about the transplant process, certain things about it like medication, transportation after transplant itself, wait times for like each blood type. You're such a and then I'm gonna go over some like key points that I thought were important. I'll go over those later because they're gonna call us in soon. So the next part of this process is testing. So I think that I think that they're going to take my blood and then do a few tests. Yeah, the whole process would have taken from 9 to 5. Right now it's around 12:20, and then we're going to be done at 5. So I'm going to meet up with the surgeon and the transplant coordinator and a social worker. I think that's it, but I'm not sure what else. And they're just going to ask me questions. And yeah, so that's the first evaluation, and I'll check up with you later. What are you looking at? Okay, so I'm in the room right now. It's just your standard hospital room, I guess. We just got done at the medical plaza. It's almost 3 o'clock, so it was from 9 to 3, which wasn't that long. So I guess they're just gonna call me to see if I have to get any more testing done. Today, I didn't really do any tests. I did an EKG, and I gave them my blood. So those are the only 2 tests I did today. So I think I'm just waiting for a call next. The experience was just like how I did at UC Irvine, because I was going to get transplanted there, but from advice from many people, I just ended up deciding UCLA. Yeah, that's pretty much just how today went. Everyone was really nice. The experience was fine. It was actually pretty good, and they were all thorough. I'm trying to think about anything else. Oh, I was gonna go over some key points from the meeting. So when you get evaluated for transplant, they'll usually give you a handbook with all this information, but this is just so you can think ahead of time, I guess. Certain things that I thought were important, like transplant is covered by your primary insurance, but you're always going to have to pay for things like miscellaneous things and parking, accommodations, medications, doctor appointment co-pays, and things like that. This is just one of the facts that I think is pretty important in regards to transplant, is that if you have had a pregnancy or blood transfusions in the past, it could up your antibodies in your body. So you want to make sure you know your PRA score, which tells how much percentage of antibodies you have in your body, because the higher percentage you have, the less likely it is that you can find a matching kidney. So it's more difficult for people who have a higher PRA to find a matching kidney. But it's still possible because of the UNOS pool and like the paired exchange programs that transplant centers have. And that's another tip. You want to make sure that the transplant center you go to is part of the National Kidney Registry that takes part in paired exchanges. And a paired exchange is when you have a living donor, but their blood type doesn't match your blood type. So what you do is a paired exchange, and through that process, you can find a living donor by doing a cross match. So, for example, if I'm blood type B and my mom wants to donate and she's A, then that can't work because an A can't give to a B. But through the program, someone else who is an A and their mother is a B, we could cross match so that we would both get kidney transplants. This is a visual of paired exchange. For transplant centers, you have to be accepted as a transplant candidate before the donors can be worked up and tested. So you want to make sure that you get on the list as soon as you can so that your donors can be tested. For UCLA, only one person can be evaluated at a time. For insurance, the transplant recipient is always going to be the one who pays through their insurance. So it's never the donor pays anything. It's always the recipient's insurance that pays for everything. So for living donors, if they were to donate a kidney to you and then they develop kidney disease later in life, which is pretty rare but it can happen, then they would be put to the top of the transplant list. So an example is that the social worker said that a boy was donated a kidney from his father, and his father developed diseases that led to kidney disease like 30 years later. He was put at the top of the list and got a transplant in a few months. Okay, let's see. For medications, the immunosuppressant drugs, after you get a transplant, you have to take them for the rest of your life, or the rest of the new kidney's life. You have to take them every day, because if you don't, then your body will most likely reject the kidney and then you'll have to go back on dialysis, and no one wants to do that. If you are on Medicare, if that's your primary insurance, it stops working after transplant for 3 years. So then you have to start paying for your own immunosuppressant drugs. Then those can get really expensive, so you want to think ahead about that. I forgot to say, the coverage for Medicare actually stays with you. You're covered for life if you're over the age of 65, or if you have a disability that is covered by Medicare. But if you're not, then it stops paying for your immunosuppressant drugs after 3 years, and then you have to pay them out of pocket by yourself. Also, I'm sorry that I talk really fast. It's just once I start talking, I just...
Don't apologize. You're beautiful just the way you are. We'll put that in there, please.
I'm putting it in there.
Okay.
So, but if you have any questions, you can always message me on my email, which is going to be in the bio, like I said, or you can message me on Instagram at kidneyforshay, and I'll also put that in the bio. Hopefully I gave some information that's helpful that you didn't know before. So yeah, have a good day. Bye.